Hi, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, and welcome to our webinar series for the month of August. And I'm excited as much as you are, and we are very, very hopeful that today's session would be an amazing one. All right. So, welcome once again to um, a monthly webinar session. And this is proudly brought to you by, and I'll just take you through a brief, summary of who we are at Speedlink High Tech Solutions. We are a Nigerian leading IT systems provider, and we are known for providing our clients with enterprise world-class solutions, which addresses their local business needs. And our focus is to deliver positive and rapid and best, return on investment solutions for our customers. All right. So we have a plethora of services that we offer, ranging from IT services to networking services, technical security, digital marketing, cloud services, collaboration systems, and of course, we are fully into trainings, right? And so we run trainings in full stack web development, cybersecurity, data analytics, cloud computing, creative and multimedia. To find out more about our trainings, you can go to speedlinktraining.com to check out some of our training modules there. And good thing is we have the one for the self-paced and the one for the tutor-led trainings as well. So please feel free to go to our website and check what we have in store for you. All right, so welcome to our monthly webinar series again. Like I said, this is the one for August. Every month we have been doing this, this monthly webinar series for the past 1 year now, and it's been an amazing time. Trust me, it's been an amazing time to gather to learn, right? And the topic for today's session is one that is very, very, I feel like it's very, very timely. If you have people who are into tech, you find out that every time they're always busy, you call one, please, I want to, can we have a meeting? Oh, I have something scheduled for you this time. So everybody in the tech world seems to be busy, right? And so we want to find out from an expert, how do you actually manage, your own time? Because everybody has 24 hours in a day. So how do you manage that time? How do you allocate such time? All right. And so the person who is going to be taking us through this session is no other person than Tamuno Tonye Dapa. And Mr. Tamuno Tonye Dapa is a seasoned and dynamic machine learning and AI professional who leverages his engineering background and technical expertise to drive business growth through data-driven solutions. All right. With several years of experience in the field, he possesses a strong technical skill set, including proficiency in Python, Azure, GitHub Actions, OpenAI, and Hugging Face services. Mr. Amos is well versed in using tools and libraries such as Pandas, Matplotlib, MongoDB, and Microsoft Office packages. Of course, that allows him to effectively collect, analyze, and interpret complex data sets. And his expertise in machine learning, large language models, deep learning, neural networks, and data science enables him to develop innovative solutions that drive business values. And as an enthusiastic team player and leader, he thrives in a fast-paced environment and is capable of working independently to deliver high-quality results. And of course, his creative and critical thinking skills allows him to approach problems from unique angles. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I want to assure you that you are in safe hands. You are in safe hands. And before we move on, all right, we I would love to introduce myself as your host. My name is Irinosa Ayende Opuge, and I am the training coordinator here at Speedlink High Tech Solutions. And I also have on the call our convener for this monthly webinar series in the person of Mr. Daniel Okun. All right, and so we want to go into the order of the day. We want to hear from the experts. We want to hear how he has been, he has been doing this, managing his time, for the time he has to share with us. All right, so Mr. Tamino Toye, can you? All right. So you have the floor, sir. Too well to go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much, Mr. Nusa, for that introduction. I'm honored to be here and to share with everyone listening to me or watching me right now. If you're here, if you're listening to me, I just want you to know that this is a very practical session. I'm not just here to talk and talk and talk. I'm here because I'm in the tech space and you are in the tech space, and we want to rub minds. I want us to rub minds, and I want to share some things that have helped me, some things that have helped me in the time past, over the years, to thrive in the tech space. So before we get right into the slides, I would like you to take a deep breath. If you're listening to me, or if you're watching me right now, take a deep breath. I know you've had a day, such a day of either work or whatsoever you've been doing, you've had a day back. Take a deep breath. If you can, close your eyes for a minute or a few seconds. All right. I want you to picture yourself, imagine yourself being hours away from a critical deadline. All right. Your Slack or your Microsoft Teams or your Discord is blowing up with messages and notifications. Your calendar is practically a minefield of back-to-back meetings. And you still haven't even started on a very difficult task that has been sitting on your to-do list all week. Take a deep breath. Now, silent. I want you to just block out every other thing that has been playing, even though you've had a super amazing day. Block out all of those things and just focus right here. Let's talk. Let's have a conversation. So for some of you, there might be a tech course that makes you feel guilty whenever you open your PC or whenever you even open your browser. You know that feeling, you're always busy all day, but sometimes you even feel like you're not even achieving anything or as much as you should. I mean, I should be doing so much. I should be thriving. That overwhelming pressure. Sometimes it makes you feel like you're even Elon Musk's PA, or you're even busier than Elon Musk because people keep messaging you and you don't respond to messages, you're not meeting up with tasks and all of those things. Trust me, you are not alone. We've all been there. I have been there. It's the constant reality of the tech world. And just a little introduction away from what Mr. has introduced. My name is Tamnoto Indapa, and for the past several years, I've juggled my work in machine learning and AI with my passions as a musician who facilitates musical lessons with my students in the United States, in the UK, Canada, Ghana, and different parts of the world as an entrepreneur. And let me tell you this, I've experienced firsthand how easy it is to burn out. I mean, there are days I'm practically sitting down in my studio right here, and I am on my PC till maybe like 3 a.m., 4 a.m. All right. And it was even worse when I had to work a 9 to 5 at a software engineering firm, or when I had to work with the films productions company in New York City remotely. You cannot imagine how my life was, like back-to-back meetings, schedules, and all of these things. So that's why I'm saying you're in the right place. Let's talk. Let's have a conversation. I know exactly how you feel. If you've done that, if your mind is now here, let's explore. Let's have some conversations. All right. So my outline for today is practically going to be centered around why we should manage our time as a techie. I'm speaking to you. I'm speaking to myself as well because I'm also a techie. So why should I manage my time? Why should you manage your time as a techie? All right. The elephant in the room, time management. It's a big challenge, not just for you, for CEOs, for personal assistants, for virtual assistants, for developers, for programs managers, for project managers, for sales team, for everyone. There's always, I came from an event today where I had to meet up with speakers from Lagos, from different places. And trust me, it's the same thing. People are like trying to meet up with deadlines and all of those things. So it's the elephant in the room. We cannot ignore it. So work-up principles are there for effective time management in tech. And then we're also going to be looking at some tech-specific time management hacks. We're going to be looking at the tools. And then we're also going to be looking at, that's part one. Part two, we're going to be looking at automation. What are the things that you can do? What are the things that I have done that have helped me navigate through this entire process? I'm going to share these things with you, and we're going to have a very practical session. How do you integrate creativity and your personal passions? Because truthfully, most of us feel like because we're doing tech, we cannot do any other thing. I mean, you're passionate about so many things, photography, all of these things, but we can't do it because we have to maybe code for hours or spend our time on the PC all day. But how do we integrate creativity and personal passions into our lifestyle to help us become more productive? And then this is the most important part, your unique framework. At the end of today's session, you are going to design your own unique framework that would help you manage your time, would help you reduce burnout, and help you be more productive as a techie. So without further ado, let's delve right into it. So why time management? Why does it even really matter? Right? It's critical for you to see tech as a world that's constantly evolving. Presently, we work in a very unique environment. You probably have bosses that you have to answer to. All right. We have tools that you have to use. For me, as an AI engineer or as a machine learning engineer, I have to constantly keep up with tools. And I'm sure the same thing happens for either a data analyst or a DevOps engineer, whatever your field is. You have to constantly keep up with all of these things. One week, you're an expert in a framework. The other week, it feels like it's outdated, or maybe you're working on a task and they need you to do something else. Or maybe you're just an enthusiast. You're not even in the tech space yet, and you're trying to learn some tools, how to use certain frameworks, how to use certain programming languages, and all of these things. And it feels like you're not even there. You're trying to keep up. There are countless tools that you have to get used to. These things create pressure. All right. There's high volume of work. Let me give you an example. You get to work in the morning, and then we're working on the task the previous day, but now you're in the office, client requires you to do something else. So your boss tells you, look, I need you to jump on this task right away because this is going to drive sales for the company. Or I need you, if you're an intern, they need you to work on something totally different. The volume of work and tasks or projects that you have to do, these things constantly change from time to time. And because of all of these things, there's risk of burnout. And then most times you have distractions because you have a life, you're a human, all right? You have friends, you have family, you have a child, all right? You have a relationship, and you have every other thing going on around you. So how do we do all of these things? Why does time management really matters? It requires focus, creativity, and balance. Because trust me, as a techie, you're either consuming tech products, creating tech products, or you're demystifying tech products. People who are in the sales aspect will understand that. So as a techie, if you're not consuming tech products, you're creating products for people to use, or you are even trying to manage these products. So time management matters because we have to ensure that we are efficiently and effectively working on the things that we're supposed to work on. The product you're supposed to create, you're supposed to effectively create this product without excuses. For example, let's say a client reaches out to you and they say they want to build a website, and as a front end developer, you have to really work on all of this stuff. You need to manage your time because you probably have other clients or you probably have other things that you're working on. So you need to really manage your time to ensure that you can deliver. That's how you even create value. That's how people trust that you can finish this work. All right. Now, to take this into a big brighter perspective, you know that most tech firms like Google, Apple, and all of these guys, even Samsung, they announce release dates. Right, dates that we want to release new devices, dates that want to release new softwares, dates that we want to release new updates and all of these things. And there's a launch date. So let me give you an example. With the kind of life that you're living right now, all right, the way you're managing your time, if you were working with Apple or Google, for example, would you be able to deliver on that particular date? Let's say we're launching on the 17th of September. Would you be able to deliver on that launch date with all of the deadlines and all of these things happening around you? So that is why time management is actually very important. So let's look at some common time management challenges for techies. All right. The slides are there, you can see. But as we're having this conversation, I want you to look critically into your space. I want you to look critically into your life and ask yourself, are these things even applicable to me, to my life, to my space, to my work, to my learning, to my personal development, to my career development? Are these things even necessary? Are these things applicable? And if those questions align, then take down your notes, write down these things, apply them to your lives right now as we're having this conversation. So the first thing we want to look at is frequent context switching. Now, what this actually means is let's say you're in this deep state of focus, about to solve a difficult bug, or you're trying to create something, you're trying to work on a particular framework, or you're trying to analyze a complex data sets. And then you get a notification on Teams or on Zoom or something, or somewhere from your product manager or a call from your boss. And they're like, you have a different workflow. You have to maybe check on this thing. Maybe as a boss, your assistant is like, there's something that we need to really work on. And you look at that. Maybe someone is reaching out to you that we have to look at the report from the marketing or from the sales team, as the case may be. And that 5 to 10 to 15 minutes switching between what you're doing and another thing can take up more than 20 minutes of your time. Now multiply these interruptions that you have between tasks for the entire day. You can see how context switching works, right? Now, you can feel like you've been working on a particular task seated at a spot for an entire day and you've not actually completed what you're supposed to do. That's context switching. And this is a common challenge for us as techies because there are notifications, even as we speak, floating all over your screens, all right? And you cannot even ignore some of them. Then, do we want to talk about the overloaded meetings and emails? Sometime ago, I had a couple of applications from a couple of firms, and I always check my emails, but I don't know exactly how I missed it. I missed that particular message. I was offered something. I was offered a particular role, and I did not know. I did not know. Someone reached out to me to even ask me, and I was like, no, I didn't get that. I didn't see that. But the next day, I got a follow-up email, and I was like, why are they sending me this email? So I asked the guy, what email was sent to him, and he told me. Then I went to my email, to my inbox, and I searched, only for me to discover that they actually sent me a mail, but I didn't see it. All right, so it's actually very important to like look at our emails and our meetings and all of these things. But most times these meetings get so crowded that we even miss out on the important things, right? And then there's a place of perfectionism. We all know, oh, we're trying to work on this framework or this Figma file. The button is particularly supposed to be at this point. I mean, it works, but this is how I want my things to be. This is how I want my things to be arranged. This is how I like to write my own Python script. This is how I like to deploy my own Docker image. This is how I like to analyze my data set. I like to do exploratory data analysis first to make sure that everything is clean. So most times, you're just overthinking it. And these things toss with your time as a techie. These are challenges. Because by the time you spend maybe another extra 5 to 10 minutes tweaking these things, time is gone. I'm sure we can relate with this. Maybe like 3 hours is even gone. And then there is balancing learning with delivery. All right. Things that we have to deliver, tasks that we have to deliver on, and then jumping on multiple learning or streaming platforms. For example, you have a course on Udemy, you have to learn a particular framework or learn how to use a particular tool. And then there is another task that you're working on that requires you to do a particular thing. Before you know, you have like multiple screens. There's YouTube here teaching you how to do this. There's Udemy here teaching you how to do this. There's Coursera here teaching you how to do this. And you're like, oh my God, what's going on? It's a common challenge. I'm sure you can relate. And even for a professional, someone who is really good at these things, it happens. You're a CEO or you're a manager of a particular team, and then there are certain things that you have to do. Most times you find yourself jumping from one platform to another, trying to manage up stuff because people are reaching out to you. You have to balance your conversations with clients. You have to balance your conversation with team members and just different things all around you. These are common challenges. And the last one on this slide is difficulty saying no and delegating. Just a little backstory. I started working on a team a while ago, and because I have a way I like to do my things. I like it. I have a way I like to arrange my stuff, my files, and all of that. So working on the team, I would tell them, do this way. This is how I want you to structure this. This is how I want you to put this. But most times it feels like time is going and they're not even getting this task done. And what would I do? I'll collect the task. I ended up doing most of the tasks myself because I mean the team members, interns, and all of these guys were not really doing the things exactly how I wanted to do, how I wanted them to do it. And I was not delegating tasks. I kept going and going and going. And most times it might even be offers, right? Most times it might be people giving you an opportunity, maybe like a learning program. Let's say you are learning how to use a particular language or framework and you have an internship offer somewhere. You know that this offer in a particular sense might not even give you an opportunity to learn. You might just be doing a lot of tasks and you're not focusing on the things that you're supposed to learn. It might be, but you cannot say no. And the fact that you cannot say no to these tasks, these opportunities, and all of these things, they steal your time and it makes you feel like, oh, you're not doing enough. You're not getting as much as, you're not even fulfilled where you are. These are peculiar challenges. And trust me, we're here to deal with them. And right now, let's get into the core principles of effective time management. So for the principles of effective time management, I want you to take a minute and look at what you have to do. First, you know that there's in order of priority, there are things that you must do every day. Even when you get to the office, there are things that you cannot skip. All right, there are messages that you cannot skip, messages from your bosses, there are things, there are tasks that you cannot skip. You have to prioritize high value tasks, high value projects, even as a CEO, even as a top management professional, you have to prioritize these high value tasks. For example, right now, today is Friday, I already know what I'm supposed to do at the end of this meeting. So client is not calling me because of time difference, a difference in time zone. Client is not calling me to say, oh, what's going on? Why are you not here? So I cannot be in this meeting right now knowing that, oh, the client is, I'm supposed to be meeting with a different client. So you need to prioritize these high value tasks and then plan with calendars and to-do lists. Most times as humans, we forget, but then if you have calendars and to-do lists, you would even randomly get pop-up notifications like, hey, speed link meeting by this time, or class by this time, or learning by this time, or meeting with my boss. And I'll be like, oh my God, okay, I have to deal with this. So it's very, very good to plan with calendars and to-do lists. I always have this around me, notes, calendars, to-do lists, just things to help me know exactly what I'm supposed to be doing for the day. You can't manage your time if you don't know where it's going. All right. Sometimes you're wondering how come you've spent so much time and you've not really done so much. But I'll strongly recommend combining these things. To-do list puts the top priority, like I mentioned earlier, things you're supposed to do at the top of your list. Put that at the top of your list and then plan. Avoid multitasking. Sometimes we just lie to ourselves that I can be seeing a movie and be coding. I can be seeing a movie and be analyzing this data sets. I was listening to someone today. One of the speakers said that a simple mistake cost a client about 100 million naira. And I thought to myself, I mean, what mistake would that be? Like, could it be missing a particular data frame? Could it be missing? It could be anything. All right. And most times you're like, oh, let me multitask. I can be working on this thing and be responding to messages. I can be doing these other things. No, you have to focus on one thing at a time if you really want to manage your time. Because I don't know about you, but for some persons like me, I also noticed that you could be working on something, on a particular task, and then you notice that you're working on a totally different task. All right, because while working with software engineering firm, I had tasks, and then at some point we had interns, and then I needed to help some of the interns work on some of their coding projects, right? I needed to help them rectify some of the bugs and the errors and all of those things. And then I just found out that I was doing these things, which were also good, and neglecting the tasks, the things that I was actually supposed to do, because I thought I would just quickly show you what to do while I'm still working on my stuff. So it's very important to focus on one task, finish it, and then go to the next thing. That way you feel like, okay, this is it. All right, I'm done with this task and I'm moving to the next one. Now, the next thing here is delegate task and learn to say no. It's very important for you to know when to say no. All right, know what to do at a particular time and who is the best fit for a particular job or role. Why am I saying this? Because most times we feel like when we're in a particular position, we just want to jump on every project. I mean, give me this. All right, I can do it. Or give me this offer, I can do it. Give me this opportunity, I can do it. Or give me this. Trust me, even as a top management professional, there are certain projects that might be a distraction to your team because you've built credibility with a particular client, and this particular project just comes on board and it feels like it's not going to, it doesn't align with the value of the team. At the same time, it ends up stressing everyone without without you guys delivering the result they're supposed to. You need to be able to decipher which of these tasks you can delegate to someone else or give to a different partner or to give to a different team or give to an intern. That way you will know exactly what to focus your time, strength, and energy on. I hope this helps you, and I hope we're all learning. So let's move to our next slide, which is tech-specific time management hacks, part 1. All right, because we're humans, and now there are lots of tools and things that can help us be even more effective as we work, as we learn, and as we grow in the tech space. Why not utilize these tools? Tools like Trello. I don't know how many of you use Trello, but Trello really helped me as a techie because then every Sunday I get notification from my Trello board that you were able to do this task, we were not able to do this task. What's going on? So I set that automation on my Trello. And these are tools you can actually just learn. Go to YouTube and search how to use Trello to automate my task. All right. And these tools will really help you because clients are listed here, clients that you have not met up with, tasks that you have not done, people that you have not delegated tasks to, all of these things would help you manage your time. And then there's Notion. The truth is, if you start using Notion as a techie, I don't think there's a going back because it just gives you a hint to how easy it is to really plan yourself and automate certain tasks. All right, Notion is not just for the people who feel like they're superhumans, but they're for you. Even as a learner in tech, or you're a student or a management professional, you can use Notion. You can have different Notion database that says, okay, this particular slot is for my team members. This is what they're supposed to do. This is what I'm supposed to do for today. And you can check, you can tick it off. You can even get notifications saying you have not checked out this task. So why not use these tools? There's Apple Notion, Apple Notes rather. I use this one a lot. I'm just going to like share a little bit with you all if you can see me. So here, if you can see my screen, I have folders. Okay, you cannot really see it, but I have like folders and files where I organize the different things that I do. So for the month, for the week, and for the day, I have these tasks. I'm saying for my Apple Notes, I want to do this. I want to meet up with a client. I have this particular meeting with a client. I have this particular training exercise, or I have this speed link. I have this speed link meeting right now. Okay, so my Apple Note helps me to do all of these things. And then there are reminders too. Reminders would help you, notify you of the things that you're supposed to do at the time. All right, the alarm system is also there to help you. You're not just okay, I think that's a mistake. You're not a robot, you're a techie. Take a break. So sometimes we end up just working and working and working and working and working and working. And before you know, you're seated here for like 8 hours doing the same task. And it feels like you're burnt out. You've not done any other thing. And for some techies, for some developers or some DevOps engineers, they can sit down for an entire day. They've not had their bath. They've not even... And you're like, what's happening to my life? Your health starts deteriorating because you don't eat at the right time. You don't sleep when you're supposed to sleep because, I mean, you're a techie, so you have to work. I mean, people say this thing where they're like, techies sleep the next day because, I mean, today we have to work till tomorrow, 4 a.m. So that's when we sleep. And then work continues. It doesn't have to be that way. You take a break when you have to. These things are tools that would help you. Now, let's get to our meetings. You need to optimize meeting agendas. For example, if we're having this meeting right here and all we're doing is just talking and talking and talking and talking, and there's no even time frame, and we don't have a clear definition of what we want to do, this meeting can end up lasting for like 2 to 3 hours, and we're just having conversations randomly. The same thing happens to your meetings. When you're having management meetings, when you're having other meetings with clients and all of these things, you need to set clear agendas. This is what I want to do for this particular meeting. And when you're done, you opt out. That way, you have time to do every other thing. I hope this helps someone. Moving on, we're going to tech-specific time management hacks part 2, and this is kind of my favorite. The first on the list is automation. So you need to automate repeated tasks and use AI. How do we even mean by this? Think about those repetitive tasks that you do day in, day out. For example, deploying code, running test scripts, or checking your emails, replying messages, and all of these things. You can automate most of these things, even sorting out certain kinds of emails for some persons. All right. There are certain scripts or certain AI tools that can help you handle all of these things. They're like AI automation tools. You can look out for some of these tools and they would help you save time. Batch communication, all right? For me, I have specific times to check emails and messages. I'm sure the same thing happens for a lot of us. But if you do batch communication, it's going to really help you manage your time. How do I even mean by this? You cannot stay as a techie and the entire day you've not actually checked your email. That is wrong because you've been working. You might miss out on a very important client update or code that you're supposed to run from the deployment team or something. So you need to actually look at all of these things, all right? Batch communication is very important. Set out time that you check your mails, maybe 3 times a day or 4 times a day. You can set an alarm to help you do that. The same thing goes with your messages, so you're not missing out on important updates. And then set clear work boundaries. This is super, super important. This is super, super important. And now, why do we need to set clear work boundaries? You're defining work hours. I recently had an interview, and I'm saying all of these things because I'm sharing relatable stories that I think you all here listening to me right now can connect with. I had an interview with someone, and they told me these are the job descriptions, these are the things I was supposed to do. But in the course of the conversation, it felt like they needed me to do some extra things. And I was like, okay, does that mean I have to spend more time? And they said, yes, but that's not in the job description. And what happens? Someone who is supposed to be a machine learning or AI engineer, for example, ends up doing the work of a data analyst, the work of a machine learning engineer, the work of an AI engineer, the work of a DevOps engineer, and setting other tasks that you're not supposed to be doing. So these clear definition of the tasks and the work hours helps you know that, okay, you know what, we're crossing the boundary of how long I'm supposed to be working for you and the things I'm supposed to be doing. Also, breaks, downtimes. It's not bad to tell your boss that, oh, I want to take some time off work to clear and refresh so I can work better. I'm sure every good boss would know to give you that space, right? And then, more importantly, learning plans and curves. You cannot tell me that you're a techie and you're not learning. You're constantly learning, no matter where you are, whether you're a beginner in Python, or you're just learning how to use Excel, or you're learning the intricacies of cybersecurity. You're constantly learning, even when you get to that point where you are now working um, with big corporations and you're now working with clients. You still have to learn certain things in your field. But then, if you end up jumping from one learning curve to another learning curve, from Coursera to Udemy to all of these things, you burn out. And that's not a good way to manage your task, your time. So defining clear learning curves. For example, I'm always going to use this as an example. I'm going to say as a machine learning engineer, I would want to learn how to analyze data first. So I'm not going to look at every other thing that I'm seeing, no matter how distracting they are. I'm just going to set this particular time frame. Maybe this particular week, I want to learn how to analyze data, and I'm going to do that. All right. When I'm done, I can move on to the next thing. But if I don't set these clear plans, I might just be learning randomly, and these things kill even your productivity and the things that you should be doing as a techie. Now, moving on, how do you integrate creativity and personal passions into your tech life? Let's shift the gears a bit. As I mentioned earlier, my background isn't just in tech. I'm also a music educator, a creative entrepreneur. And I've learned that integrating creativity and our personal passions is not a distracting idea. I mean, it doesn't distract you from work. In fact, it helps you work better. In most cases, it fuels how much work you do or how much productivity you get to. Engaging in hobbies like music, art, sports, and whatever thing that brings you joy allows your mind to rest and approach problems from fresh perspectives. Now think of this as actively recharging your creative batteries. In fact, for me, I had to integrate going to the gym into my work system. At some point, I used to take my gym wears into my bag. When I leave the office, I would go to the gym. Why? Because I needed that. All right. You need something different from the work. And that's why in most cases you see the work-life balance, because I mean you have to leave to actually work. Right. Now, creating rituals to transform or transition between work and personal time can be an incredibly helpful habit. This could be as simple as taking short walk after work. So taking a long walk or short walks after work, or maybe in between. Maybe when you have your break periods, you can take a walk around the compound. Or I actually discovered that walking around my estate sometimes helped me think better. So you could incorporate these things. It could also be listening to a specific kind of playlist if you don't have the time to do all of these things. Maybe set a particular, maybe classical music or jazz or something else that helps you stay focused, right? For some of you, it might be moving away from where you are, like the workspace you're presently working on, to a different workspace. I mean, if you work from home, you might be leaving your comfort zone, going to a different workspace, or going to a garden to work. If you work in your office, it might be going to your boss's office because you know you're going to be supervised. Your boss is going to be looking at you like, okay, so what are you working on? That might help you work better. So find something that calms you and incorporate them into your routine. And this is really going to help you. What reduces stress for you? Find that thing. Is it mindfulness, practicing mindfulness? For me, sometimes I just leave the work that I have to do when I'm really stressed and I can't really think anymore. I come to my piano because I play the piano and I start playing the piano. It helps me calm my nerves. It helps me relieve the stress. So think about what works for you and get to it. Use that as your superpower. Now, this is the part where I would want you all to work with me. Your unique framework. I want you to build your unique framework with me that's going to help you. So what you're going to do for me now, this is just a mini task, just a small task that I want you all to get involved in. So you take out a sheet of paper, if you have one, or a notepad, or a sticky note, or a marker or something. Just make sure you are able to write somewhere if you have notes. This is what I want to do. First thing you're going to do is write out every single thing that you have to do in a day. I mean, from brushing your teeth to having breakfast to checking up on your child to dropping your child at school to looking at your emails, all of these things that you have to do in a day, just write them down in a list. You can do that now. I think we have a little time. Now, when you write these things down, I want you to go to a fresh page. We're going to have different sections. You're going to break these things into sections. So for me, for example, I know that I have to wake up in the morning. I have to do my prayers, meditation. I have to go to the gym. I have to take breakfast. I have to check my emails. I have to jump on my task. I have to have my classes. I have to read my self-help books. I have to code or learn machine learning for 30 minutes. That's on my alarm for 30 minutes every day. I have to check up on my students, see how they're doing. I have to have a class maybe later in the night. All of these things. Maybe I'm beginning to incorporate rest into my schedule. So maybe rest for 15 minutes. I have to do that. So write out all of these things that you have to do in a day. Now, break it into two sections. The first section is necessities. What you must do each day. These are your routines. You must pray each day. You must meditate each day. You must come to the office each day if you're working in the office and you have to come every day, depending on what you have to do. You write this as your routine, all right? If you have to go to the gym, if you have to check on your spouse, if you have to take your child to school every day, you need to specify that under the first section, what you must do every day. That's what you must do. Now, the next section is what you could do. Now, when I mean what you could do, this is not necessarily what you must do. For example, you can decide to read a book in a day, but you don't have to, right? But look at it this way. Just imagine you don't go to the office today. I mean, you don't have to, or tomorrow is Saturday. On the Monday morning, you don't go to the office. You have to go to the office, right? So you cannot put going to the office as it's something you could do. Well, I mean, you could put reading a book or taking a course. You could do taking a course because these things are actually things that help you live a better life. You can decide whether or not you want to do them. Now, the third section, this list is not exhaustible, it's inexhaustible. So you can write as much as. Remember what I said when we started this session. It's very practical. Do it for you. You are the one that knows exactly how your schedule is, how tight it is, how people are complaining, how clients are complaining, how you even lost out on opportunities because of time management. Now, the third section is what would be nice to do. For example, endlessly scrolling on social media or seeing a movie, or the list goes on. Write this down. Now, when you do this, I want you to assign time slots for the things you must do each day. Then set reminders or paste notes on the wall. For me, I have these things I have to do, paste notes, set alarms for specific time, tasks like lunch, taking your courses and all of this, and then allocate time for rest, meditation, refreshing, and recharging. Reward yourself every day. Buy yourself a cup of coffee or ice cream or smoothie or suya, just for keeping to your framework, for doing these things. Reward yourself. Oh, I actually did this thing today. Rinse this and repeat until it becomes part of you. I hope this helps you, and I hope that you remember, if you haven't gotten anything from the session we've had today, I want you to remember this: activity is not productivity. So you can be busy all day, but you've not done anything. Thank you very much.
Whoa, thank you very much, Tammy. This is massive. This is massive. I must say that I have my notes here that I wrote down a few things, and of course I'm going to incorporate them into my own personal life because I actually need to, so that I don't break down, just like you said. All right. So at this time, we would love to take some questions. Would love to take some questions, and when we do, there are some questions we have that that have come in, and we want to get some of those questions on board. But before we do that, we'd just love to go on a brief commercial, and when we'll be back, we're going to take one or two questions that our listeners have asked, right? And so we'll see you after the commercial. All right. Thank you very much for that. So we'll just drive into the questions we have. So I have one question here. Someone is asking, I believe you are still there, Tammy, and the person is asking, how do you avoid distractions from WhatsApp groups, Twitter trends, Facebook, political drama while working? This person seems to be like someone who, probably has all of those things popping up on their chat. So I remember I was speaking with someone today, and I said, for the next couple of days or weeks, I want to just block out. And then the person asked me, is that even possible? Right? Is that possible for you to just block out of social media? What happens to work and all? In my head, I'm saying, well, work may have to revert back to emails, right? So how would you, as an individual, by the way, our convener is also on the call. Of course, he may have one or two to also chip in when it comes to that. But first, for you, Tamnotoye, what would you do? How do you avoid distractions like that from, be it WhatsApp groups, be it Twitter trends, Facebooks and the likes? Yeah.
Question, and very practical question. But this is what I'm going to say to you. You don't have to respond to all the messages or all the notifications on all the WhatsApp groups and all of the social media platforms, because you don't have the time to do that, right? let me give you an example. If you have to check every single notification you have on LinkedIn, every single time it pops up, you will not do any work, any productive work. Am I saying your mind? So this is exactly what happens. For me, I look at my phone, I look at groups that are important, and groups that are not important, I archive them. Because people might just be having random conversations about a random thing that doesn't really concern me on a group. And those things end up distracting me. So I look at those things, I want to block those things as I archive most of those things. Sometimes I pin messages from my bosses, messages from my clients. I treat those things as priorities because these are the things that you have to work. So what happens if you don't respond to your boss's message? That's top priority, like I said when I was having the session. So you have to treat these things first before the other things. You don't have to do this, what I'm about to say now, but I've not had Twitter on my phone for months, for over 3 months, actually. I looked at it and I was having like a rethink. I was like, did I die? No, I did not die. What was I supposed to do? What was Twitter help? Why did I delete Twitter? Now, this is for me. You have to look at what works for you. Why did I delete Twitter? I deleted Twitter because I was just endlessly scrolling and I did not know exactly what I was doing at the time. So I was like, you know what? Let me delete this app. I was being distracted. It doesn't have to be your case. For you, there might be some apps that you use to block out some of these social media apps. Another thing that I do that I feel like you can do is sometimes when I want to work here, my phone, I leave it in my house and I come to the studio and I make sure that for this 1 hour, I am not going to touch my phone. I'm just going to work on this project because I have deadline and this is how I'm going to eat. This is how I'm going to move to the next phase of my task or project or client report. So I leave my phone at home. I work. That 1 hour, you will not die. You will not cease to exist. After the 1 hour, you can go check. You can respond to say, oh, sorry, sir, I was in the middle of something. Right. So this way you are blocking out those notifications and those distractions. I hope this helps.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So while I want to bring up Mr. Daniel shortly, because there's a question I want him to address. But before I do that, Tammy, maybe you just want to write this down. Somebody is asking a question. How do you set boundaries when working remotely in a Nigerian home where everybody thinks you are not really working? You know, in this part of the world where you tell somebody you are a remote worker, especially when you still stay with your parents, and they just assume that you're just playing around with your mobile phone or your laptop, right? So how do you set that boundary? How are you able to, juggle between, working remotely and then people just think this guy is just playing with his life? Yeah. So that's for you, Tammy. But then I want to come back to you, Mr. Daniel. Somebody is asking a question here. The person is asking, how do you manage your time when you are frequently interrupted by family responsibilities, church activities, project deadlines, right? And then there's also a second part to that question. How do you also ensure that these same family responsibilities, your kids, how do they not completely take over your weekends? Because most times as techies, it's weekends you want to use to cover up. But then again, some other tasks will come up. So how do you, ensure that family and kids, they don't completely take over your weekends? I don't know if you want me to go over the question again.
I'm good with
Sorry, not you, Tammy. Just hold on, Tammy. Hold on, Tammy.
Okay.
Yeah, Mr. Daniel, your mic is muted.
Yes, you can go over the question again. Let's when the first starts.
Okay. So the person is asking, how do I manage time when you are frequently interrupted by family responsibilities at home, church activities, project deadlines? All right. How are you able to sum all of these? Or because of course you need to take care of family responsibilities, You also need to attend to church activities. Of course, those people who are also Muslims or whatever religion, they also need to attend their activity, their religious activities. And then you also have project deadlines looking at you in the face, right? So how are you able to, juggle up all of these, tasks? Because that is being somebody being practical. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. That's actually a very practical question. Fortunately, um, I'm married with 3 kids, and in fact, those 3 kids right now, they are in their prime of, let me use this word, attention seeking, right? So, so they are in their prime of attention seeking. So I can actually relate, and I'm also very active in my own part of religion. I'm very, very active and also very active at work because, of course, I lead a firm. So this question was actually asking me, how do you actually cope with it? Wow. Okay. So, but anyway, this is what I do. I'm trying to be very practical. Like as Speaker Mr. Tony has told us, of course, you can't get more than 24 hours. You can't get more than 24 hours in a day. That's just the truth. So I use a principle called buying back the time. And like I do always say, something must suffer for some other thing to be important. Everything is a priority. Your family, of course, your family comes first. That's number one. God comes first, your family comes. Then you have other things that, like busy people always say, of course, I'm working to fit the same family. So I need to give that work and that project quite a lot of time. There's always now an issue. Where do you now create that boundary between that? So I actually buy back my time. I make use of my nights for some tasks. I'm meant to sleep, but if I notice that's I'm asking for the one that talk about the family, I've noticed that the night is when maybe the kids are sleeping. I have to buy back my daytime by now operating at night. Possibly I could wake up quite earlier than when I'm meant to wake up. Even that person may decide to wake up 6 a.m. I could wake up 4 a.m. to buy back 2 hours that I have lost when I came back and I couldn't face work. And now when we come to projects, every project have deadlines. And we have already learned about time hacks, how to kill and get back your time. Prioritizing projects is very, very important. And I could also say church activities could also be regarded as a project because it takes your time. Your family is also a project because it takes your time. We already know the specific days for a lot of church activities, and church activities also have some activities inside it. If you know at a point you are very, very busy and occupied with projects, we have already learned something here. You have the power to say no to quite a lot of things. In the church activity now, probably you are now to be enrolled as a leader in some areas, and of course, it would affect your family. It would affect a project. You say no with good reasons. So far, it does not affect your your relationship with God and maybe your primary relationship to the church. Now, when it also comes to your family, every family already understands, aside your kids anyway, as in kids at the age of mine, they won't really understand that you are working to feed them. They want your attention. But a discussion with probably your wife and some other people, a simple this when communication comes in. You have some project deadlines that you need to meet, and of course, some people are remote workers, meaning you have to work at home to accomplish that deadline. Like my kids, they'll come knocking, it's time for play, and I have a project to accomplish and submit by 9 p.m. In communication, oh my wife, please assist me. In fact, this webinar that is holding, of course, they are meant to be at the webinar, so it's a project. Assist to handle them. I have this and this and this to close out, and probably it can work out that way. It can always work out. Such activities also, there's always a means to prioritize these things. Time is life and it's of high value. But one of the best things, buy back your time from a lot of other areas. Maybe you have some time for movies, social media, and you have a lot of other things. Buy back that time because you must be perfect somehow in all of them, particularly your family. You can't you can't make do without it. But it's all about strategy and planning the time. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Buy back your time. Buy back your time. All right. So in 1 minute, in 1 minute, 1 minute, Mr. Tammy, because we actually want of time, all right? In 1 minute, I'd love to. There's a question that was asked. I'm sure you had that written down. I want to just pull it up again. The question is saying, sorry, I think just give me a second. Okay, yes. How do you set boundaries when working remotely in a Nigerian home where everybody thinks you are not really working? Please, I'd love that you're able to deal with this in just 1 minute, 30 seconds, just because of time. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, I'm going to try my best to deal with this in 1 minute by telling you a story. When I started working remotely, I used to stay with my parents, right? And I had my siblings, and I did not have a room of my own. So you know exactly what that means. Sometimes I have to do my work in and my meetings in the parlor, and people be like, "What are you even doing?" Maybe somebody is randomly shouting or screaming and all of those things. And if you work remotely, in some cases, you have to work with time zone, meaning by 1 a.m. you probably be having a meeting. All right. And for me, in some cases, I'm having sessions where I have to speak really loud and all of that. Now, this is what you do. You need to understand your environment, where you are. Are you single? Are you married? Are you staying with your parents? Are you staying alone? So in a Nigerian home where you're staying with your parents or siblings or your auntie or your uncle, you need to be able to have a reasonable conversation with them to say, hello, sir, this is what I'm currently doing. And these are the time slot and the time, because obviously people would also need time to do their own stuff. And they will also need your attention at some point. If you're a married man, your wife will need your attention. You cannot tell her that you're having a meeting. She doesn't really know. She just needs your attention and all of that. So what you do, you tell them, have that clearly defined hours. These are my work hours. If possible, set out a timetable or a roster and paste it somewhere to people already, your siblings or your parents or your aunties or uncles already know that at this time, this is what you'll be doing. So if they see you on your laptop, nobody's going to come and talk to you. Nobody's going to come and send you on an errand or something. So that helps you. Secondly, or lastly, I want you to actually be doing what you say you're doing. So for example, if you're supposed to be working and maybe your client doesn't show up for meetings, and then they probably see you seeing a movie at that time, or maybe scrolling on social media, they'll feel like, this guy's not really working. But that's your work time. So you want to give them that impression that this is your work time and you're actually working in a Nigerian home. Finally, finally, when I was working with a firm in New York, it was crazy for me to explain to people that at 1 a.m. I am going to be having meeting. I'm going to be shouting and screaming. So what did I do? For me, it was easy for me to move somewhere else or move to a friend's place for that particular day where I have to work. I don't know if this makes sense.
All right, thank you very much, Tammy, for that. Thank you very much. I think this relates so much to me. I remember when I was starting out and I was still at my parents. The trick I used was it's actually funny because I made sure I had to, because I was the only child at home at the time. And of course, you need to do the chores, do everything, right? So I'll make sure I wake up as early as I can and do all I can in the house first before I now go ahead to, so that nobody calls me, oh, you've not done this, oh, you've not done that, and all of that, right? So thank you very much, Mr. Tamuno Tonye Dapa. I really do appreciate your time and efforts, right, for coming through on this session, right? And so there's one thing I took out from your session this night is that activity is not productivity. Activity is not productivity, right? And to our listeners, our viewers out there, that's one thing you should also take home. Activity is never productivity. And I'm also going to leave you with these words from Stephen Covey. It says, the key is not to prioritize what's on your schedule. The key is not to prioritize what's on your schedule, but to schedule your priorities. That was from Stephen Covey. Right. So once again, I really want to thank everyone for joining on the call. It's really been an amazing time of learning, relearning, and unlearning. All right. And I do hope that all you have taken down in your jotters, in your pen notes, and all of that, you will be able to go back and practice, because it's one thing to learn, it's one thing to practice so that it becomes a habit, right? So that's the goal. Let it become a habit so you are able to manage your time effectively. All right. And so once again, this is proudly brought to you by Speedlink High Tech Solutions. And we're located here in Port Harcourt, number 15, Road 6, Okewali Estate, by Alakaya Car Wash, River State. And you can always come around. We offer a plethora of trainings ranging from cybersecurity, data analytics, multimedia, and lots more. All right. Once again, you could always go to our website at speedlinktraining.com, and we have a lot for you there. All right. So this is me signing out, and this is me saying thank you very much for being an amazing audience. Thank you very much for being there, because without you, we won't be hosting this webinar. And to our guest, thank you once again. All right. So till our next webinar series, goodbye and good night. You're welcome.